what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
It's Topic Tuesday on Look Who's Ranting Now.
I'm sorry, I just have to let it ride every single
I love that beat. I do it every
time. I have to let it ride every single time. Listen, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. It's Topic Tuesday. I like to tell everybody you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here spending your Tuesday with us, and we really appreciate it. Topic Tuesday is where we bring you a topic, and we're going to talk about that one topic, maybe for 30 minutes, maybe for an hour, but we're going to get into it. And you're tuned in to Look Who's Renting Now. Remember, we also a podcast. Make sure y'all check us out not only tonight, but also on Thursday. Whatever platform you're watching us on, make sure you follow the show page. Do that. Don't just be watching us. Hit the follow button. It's free. Before we get into it, I always got to give props where props is due. You know, there's a big dog in the room. You know, he's the reason. He is the reason why we're here. He has a bit of imposter syndrome, so y'all gotta be careful. You know, I can't put too much sauce on it.
Very humble.
But to Artiste Cologne, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for joining us. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great.
You doing great? You lit over there?
Listen, the pre-show was
it was lit. It was lit. Oh, okay. I appreciate you.
Shout
for
out
everything.
to Like a Bug for the donation.
Can I do my own shout outs?
Yeah. No, I was saying shout out for the beverage.
He done messed up my intro. Start it over. I lied.
You can't do it. We lie.
And also joining me tonight is our social media manager, Like a Bug. How are you this evening?
I'm good.
I'm glad the eat came out. I think the last time I was here, the eat didn't quite come out.
It didn't quite come out. No.
It didn't quite come out, so it's good to hear it again. Shout out to everybody in the comments that's joining us. Listen, tonight we're going to talk about logic versus emotion, right? That's going to be the topic tonight. I always have to tell you where the topic came from. So I'm having a discussion with someone, right? And this person proceeds to tell me that unless whatever decision is made when it comes to them, whatever they're doing, doesn't matter if they're parents, their girlfriend, doesn't matter who it is, unless it's without emotion, they do not respect it. That it has to be in logic and reasoning. That it has to be based in fact. So it perplexed me, right? Because as humans, whether you're a man or a woman, emotion is just a part of what we are, right? And all emotions are not a negative thing, right? So if there's a good emotion mixed in that, how can you disrespect the emotion and say it's not based on logic? And he was like, he doesn't care. If there's any emotion attached to it, he doesn't like it. And so we talked about this for over an hour. I could not get this person to budge. They were like, nope, I just don't respect it. So if we're going to argue and there's going to be an argument right now, you're sounding emotional, right? Cut it off, right? Because you're sounding emotional. I don't even respect it, right? So I was like, you know what? Logic versus emotion. Why not do this as a topic? So listen, of course, I did some research, and I want to give y'all, before people, I want to make sure everybody understand what is logic and what is emotion, right? So I'm going to give y'all some definitions. Then I'm going to give y'all some scenarios, and you tell me whether you would handle it with logic or emotion, okay? So here's the first one. Okay, logic is described as a language of the conscious mind. So when you're conscious and you're actually thinking, right, logic takes you actually in your mind and reasoning with what decision you're about to make, right? Emotion is with the unconscious mind. Why? Because emotions are feelings, right? They're not necessarily fact, but they're feelings. Now, we know that emotions are reactions that are sometimes imagined, right? So somebody could tell a lie to themselves and be filled with all this emotion and react on that. So emotions can lie to you. Remember that logic should not be lies. Now, that's a whole nother story. Somebody using lies and logic, that's a whole nother thing. But logic should be based in fact. Now, there are flaws in both of them, right? There's flaws in being too logical, and there's flaws in being too emotional. So the flaws in being logical means, like, if you're always making decisions based out of logic, you're going to have an unfulfilled life, right? If every decision that you're making is based on logic alone, right? So say, for instance, you're happy. You're having the best day ever. And there might be a decision that you need to make, but you will not make the decision because you're filled with emotion. You might miss an opportunity, right? Because you waited too long and you're overthinking when you should react in that emotion, right? But too much emotion can result in you lying to yourself. Okay, that's just a fact. Whether you too angry, whether you too sad, sometimes you can be too happy. Like I was at the casino not too long ago, in there playing my money, getting too happy. You know what I'm saying? It make you feel something. You know you ain't got no more coins to put in that machine, but you want to play anyway, right? That's the emotion part of it. But logically, if I took it away, you would know to stand up and get away, right? So that's the difference between logic and emotion. Just remember, logic is always within reason, but too much of anything is bad, okay? So here's the first thing I want to ask, not only people in the chat, but in the room. I'm going to give you some scenarios, but you only have to pick one way to handle it. It has to be only in logic or only in emotion. And you have to pick before I start reading a scenario. So Artiste, are you going to be logic or are you going to be emotion?
Well, before you pick the scenario, wow. I'm going to go with logic.
You're going to be our logic guy.
I'm going to be the logic.
Okay, you're going to be logic.
I'll be
On
emotion.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to be logic. You're going to be emotion. All righty. So again, we're going to have some scenarios and you can only respond in logic like a bug. Only emotion. Remember, it's a versus. Okay?
All right,
It's a
let's do
versus.
it.
All right, let's do it. All right. So here's the first one. So you have been working a lot of overtime. Okay? Maybe 10, 15 hours per week. Christmas is coming up. Bills coming up. The day your paycheck is supposed to deposit, you check your account, you're in a negative. Okay? You see that your deposit is there. You call, you're like, oh, it's clearly a scam. Let me get on the phone with the bank. I'm going to get it settled, right? The bank is closed this day. You call, you get a rep. Oh, we see it's a scam. They get you over to a manager. You're talking to the highest person that can help you. This person is having a bad day. They tell you there's nothing they could do for you. And the next time you get your money is 6 to 8 weeks. And they give you a reference number. For my logic, how do you handle that situation?
Logically, because there's nothing else that can be done. Step one, I'm praying, right?
Oh,
So I'm dropping down to my knees and I'm asking somebody who's above me to work out this situation. Step two, I'm going into my savings. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see if the stock market's closed, can I sell a few shares and bring that money back to me for whatever immediate needs I need and stuff like that. That's how I'm handling it logically. And then step three, I would be going to a friend, right? Saying, hey, this is my situation. In 6 to 8 weeks is the time frame that I can pay you back. Can you help me out in this situation? That's me with logic. 1, 2,
I
and 3.
love that answer. That is a
Gotcha.
great answer. So listen, that ever happened to y'all? I want y'all to look back on this. That's an awesome answer. Emotion. What are we doing in our emotion?
Step one, cuss them out. talk.
No,
Say I'm lying.
I actually had an almost similar experience.
Talk about it.
When it wasn't like I got paid, but it was, I had saved money for my honeymoon. And they took out $800 and something for the room that we were staying in for Country Inn and Suites in Tampa, Florida. I walked in because we missed the first night. So they charged me for a no show fee. I get it. We came in the second night. The room looked like a basement. I was like, I don't want to stay here. So I leave. They kept that $800, but when she checked me in for an additional $700.
Oh my God.
So they were holding on to $1,500 that I had saved from my money. I was so mad. I called the bank. I'm calling everyone. I was so upset, but I didn't cuss them out, but I cried my eyes out. And when I got off the phone with them, all I could do, I was so mad and so frustrated. All I could do was cry because my money that I saved, is gone. And I can't use that for anything. Like, granted, thankfully, thank the Lord, Carrick had some money put away. We were able to go to we went to the Hyatt. Shout out to the Hyatt. We went there and we had a good time. But for 2.5 days, I did not have that $1,500. And that was the worst. So when I responded, it was definitely an emotion, but I didn't cuss them out because they sounded like they genuinely cared. Now, for someone who act like they're having a bad day and they don't care, well, now I'm having a bad day. You finna have a worse day. Now you about to get cussed out because you want to be rude to me. I can be rude to you. Vice versa. Since you ain't gonna help me anyway, I don't see the logic in me trying to be nice to you. I'm gonna cuss you out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And listen, I love it, right? Now here's where I'm gonna ask, okay? How do you combine the two?
How do you combine logic and emotion?
And the emotion. Yours was strictly logic.
Just logic?
This is emotion.
If like a bug don't mind, I wouldn't mind saying how you combine the two.
Go ahead.
Step one, the cry.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because if this is happening around Christmas and I got someone right down the hallway who is expecting this, and that, and I wasn't prepared and I thought I was going to do some last minute shopping or something like that, first I'm going to cry. The emotion, because I'm letting down my family. You know what I'm saying? So that first. Then back to the logic. Two, the pray. It is out of my control. I can't do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So then we go to the pray. Then we go to the savings. Then we go to the friends.
Okay.
With the explanation and letting them know logically, hey, I can't get you back until the 6 to 8 week period. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, you know, most people got to step 5 and then like, hey, if I can't get it in these 4, then people will go to 5 and rob or steal. I ain't got no 5. It's just them 4.
Or
logically, I'm just going 1, the cry, pray, you know what I'm saying, savings, and ask. I'm not ever going to the steal.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
Nobody said hang up except for Boom.
Boom. Y'all was just going to say Boom said hang up.
Boom said hang up. And that was one of my answers. I was like, you know what? I think that I would think about it logically. Now, your answers were way different from mine, right? So remember I said it was like on a Sunday, right?
Gotcha.
So logically, I can't do nothing today.
He's talking about the worker hang up on me when they're having a bad day and they're being rude to me. So I respond rude. They can hang up on me. That's fine. You can hang up. I can always call back.
That's what I'm saying. I would have been filled with emotion. Like, okay, ma'am. All right, you have a nice day. I was gonna hang up. Maybe I wouldn't have called back because you know how some managers could be petty, putting notes in the system, and when you call back, you got to go through the thing again. That would make me more emotional. I would go the next day to the branch.
Ooh,
that's something else you can do.
Somebody got it, but that's still me filled with emotion, right? I think that yours was still more logical in a sense because if their policy, and I spoke to a manager, right, was 6 to 8 weeks. It is what it is.
It's out of my control.
Me going into the branch, I would have to encounter somebody with a lot of empathy. I would have to, I'm black, you know what I'm saying? My account would have to look a certain way. It's already in a negative. They got to research. There is a research department. That's a real thing, right? So I would still be taking a chance. But me, I would be at the branch Monday morning. I'm calling to work. That's how emotional I am. I got to go to the bank.
I will say, though, logic in terms of it can get you further in some cases, but then emotions can also. If you're an emotional, but you're in a, I need you to feel sorry for emotion, that can get you further. And if you're logical, it can get you further. One time, story real quick. One time, my headlight from my Beetle, the Riley's auto shop, well, not the auto shop, the Riley's parts store, they replaced the light assembly on my Beetle. And
hold on, they don't even do that.
Not anymore. They did it for me, right? It was back in 2012, 2013.
Okay.
And when I was driving, it fell out. The whole light assembly fell out.
That's why I don't do it no more.
And I went to the store and I said, hey, this happened. And the manager was like, all I can do is give you 50% off. He's like, you can call someone above me, but all I can do is 50% off. So I had to call corporate. And me and corporate, we stayed on that phone. I was like, look, my light was fine until they replaced the little light bulb and they put the assembly back in and then it fell out. They sent me a brand new one free of charge. And I was able to put it in there. But after that, they told me we cannot change any more of your light bulbs in your car.
Oh yeah. You cost some money at that point.
But because it was because I was more in that situation, I wasn't emotional. I was logical and I took the next steps and I followed instead of cussing out the manager and so on and so forth. Because if he would have reached back out to the manager and say what happened, and the manager was like, well, she just came in here
And she was rude.
right,
And
and
it wasn't
she was
going to help
rude.
you.
Right, then they wouldn't have helped me. But because I remained calm and I wasn't emotional, I was able to get what I needed.
Right,
Can
right.
I address two quick things real
Yes,
quick?
yes.
And this is just from my point of view. First off, shout out to Chayo for joining on Twitter.
Hey,
and of
Chayo.
course, T. Marie as well. Y'all can always click that add to speak if y'all want to add to the conversation as well. And Rasman as well. First thing, the difference between because I feel like the explanation we're given for emotion is feelings, and they're not the same.
Okay.
Feelings are internal, right? I can feel scared, but I emote anger.
Hey, Shay Shay.
So it's like emotion is what is displayed. Emotion is an action. Feeling is internal, right? So it's like the difference I feel like sometimes between men and women is we feel the same things you feel. People think that men have no feelings. Oh, we feel. We emote different. Fear to me is a call to action. So anytime I'm getting into it with a guy, I'm afraid.
Hey,
I'm
Angel.
afraid he might hit me. So that's why I hit him first. My emotion is anger. My feeling is afraid. You know what I'm saying? So emotions and feelings are two different things. Some people feel scared and act scared and emote scared. You know, as a man, you're not going to emote fear. It's just something you feel. You know, and that's where, I just feel like those things are a little bit different. So I get the whole logic and emotion thing, and that's why I feel like men tend to lead more towards logic.
We gonna get there.
Okay.
We gonna get there.
Okay.
We gonna get there. We gonna get there. Listen, shout out to everybody joining us on TikTok right now. I see y'all in the comments. We're talking about logic versus emotion. Listen, the scenario that we just went over is when somebody takes your money from the bank, you worked a lot of overtime. How would you handle it logically or emotionally? Y'all make sure y'all put it in the comments. We're gonna go to the next one, right? We're gonna move right along. All right, here we go.
All right.
Second scenario: logic, emotion, right?
Yeah.
Or do y'all want to switch?
No, I'm gonna stick. I gotta stick with what I know.
You gotta stick with what you know.
And
Okay.
she gotta stick with what's true. 'Cause listen, that's feeling emotion right there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Here's
All day. Then logic.
ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. All right. Here's the second, and this is gonna be, both of y'all have been this. So you're married, okay?
Ooh.
5+ years, and have always been happy. Nothing really going on in your relationship, right?
Okay.
For the last 3 months, though, your partner does not want to be intimate with you. This is not about just sex. This may be a hand holding, maybe a kiss, touch on the leg, whatever intimate things that you do, including sex. They don't want to do it, right? You decide to sit them down and talk to them like, look, we going on month 3. Tell me what's going on with you. Tell me what I can do, right? They tell you no, and they don't feel like it. Logically, emotion, what you doing?
Do you want to go first, or you want
I
me
want you to go first.
All right. Logic, and this is just because I listen to a lot of TED Talks. Logic is going to say to me, it's either one of two things, right? Something I'm doing or something that's happening to them internally, right?
Okay.
So if I can search myself and say, hey, I haven't changed over the 3 months that's included into the 5 years, I'm going to say something that's going on with you. So logically, it could be hormonal. I could say maybe this person's pregnant and they don't even know.
Okay.
That's logic without the emotion.
Okay, that's
You
your
know.
thought pattern, but what are you doing logically? So you've given, that's a thought
Yeah.
pattern. Your thought is, well, I'm thinking this is, but they're not telling
Hormonal.
you.
Yeah.
They're saying, I don't want to. What are you doing logically? Not your thought pattern. You're being considerate, right?
Yeah,
And
true.
you're reasoning, maybe these things are going on with babe.
Logically, I'm still married. Logically, I'm seeking counseling for me, myself, right?
Okay.
Because their actions are causing me to start to feel and emote certain things. So I'm going to counseling. I'm like, hey, here's my scenario. Somebody who is smarter than me help me out with this. Have you ever seen this before?
Okay.
Is this some kind of midlife crisis? I'm telling them the ages we are. That's logic without the emotion. I'm just searching for an answer to the question I have. Why are we not connecting anymore?
Okay.
With logic, no emotion. But I'm going to have to lean. I don't even heard what she said yet. But I'm more than likely, I would probably lean towards emotion.
Okay, I just want to read some of the comments real quick. We got
'Cause this is my life.
sounds like permission to cheat from Boom. Angel with the devil says 90 days of attachments will be cause and effect situation for me. She says she'll become more discouraged, and since she won't cheat, she either fix it or she's out.
But y'all are forcing me to answer logically.
No, we're not forcing you.
Okay.
You chose it, love.
No, I chose logic prior to knowing the question. What I'm saying is I'm forced to stay in the category of logic.
Absolutely.
And I'm doing my job.
That's the whole thing.
Logically, that's how you do it.
And you're doing great.
Minus the emotion.
You're doing great.
I'm just saying I probably wouldn't do this logically.
Rasmus says I'm badgering the witness. I'm not badgering him. I'm trying to keep him in his lane. All
No,
right.
I'm staying in my lane. I'm just saying that in real life, outside of this scenario where I have to be logic, there's only one of the two people here that's still married. You know what I'm saying? Because emotionally, you got me fucked up. But logically, this is what you're supposed to do. Logic, it's hormonal. You've been the same for 5 years. You having a midlife crisis, your hormones change, you eat some bad sushi, you're pregnant, what's going on? Logic, right?
Okay.
Because ain't nothing else changed.
That's
I
right.
haven't
That's
changed
the scenario.
logic. I'm just saying, in the sense of logic, that's how you look at it. But I'm probably agreeing with like.
Okay, and then one more comment. Rasman says, "I make it important that we make time to talk." Rasman, you've done that, and their answer to you was, "I don't want to."
That's what I'm saying. I'm
You've
forced to
already
answer
talked,
logically.
right, Rasman?
Yeah.
You've already talked. So, Rasman, give me another scenario. If you're choosing logic, how you handle it? Emotion.
I ain't choose logic. Well, I did, but I didn't know what these questions were. But you got it like it.
Let's go, emotion.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to talk to you and you told me I don't want to talk about it.
Well,
3 months?
They didn't tell you they want to talk about it. They just said, so y'all talk and you ask them, what's going on? Like, we haven't been intimate. You kind of cut me off. Like, what's up? And they say, I just don't want to.
You just don't want to what in this marriage?
They don't want to be intimate with you. So you listen, they haven't held your hand. There's been no kissing. There's been no sex. Whatever intimacy y'all had, they cut it off for the last 3 months. And you go to them, you talk to them like, babe, like, it's been, I just wonder what's going on. And they look at you dead square in the face. I don't want to.
So who's the bitch? Who is she? Let me know. Who is she? Who is she?
What's her name?
What's her name?
What is her name?
Just let me know.
There's a stranger in my house.
Who is she?
It took a while to figure out.
And if he wants to still play on some I don't know bullshit, I'm going to waltz my ass over to the divorce lawyer, file my separation, and say, there you go.
But see,
and listen, you were happy for 5 years, and in 3 months, emotions are done. I think that is a very...
Listen, that's the
I said
approach
file separation.
Yeah.
I didn't say divorce.
You
said divorce, but you meant
No, I said I go to a divorce lawyer, but I'm filing separation.
So you kind of pump faking, like letting them know, like, get it together.
Get it together.
That's that Rasman thing, like he said, like, hey, you got to have kind of one foot in and one foot out of this thing. If people feel like you'll never leave, then they'll give you the kind of shit.
Because they know you'll allow it.
You will allow it.
Thank you.
Now, I will say, in my past, I have taken the emotional route, right?
Okay.
In the sense that, like, I'm forced to answer logic here, and I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a
logic.
great...
I'm representing for logic.
You are.
I'm just saying, in the past, when shit hadn't been right, I have taken the emotional route, right? Where I would just leave. Just get out of whatever the scenario was if I didn't like it. We give these ultimatums and stuff like that. But I do feel like with logic to me is tied into love. And the reason why I say this is because it's impulsive. A feeling that you get when somebody draws a gun on you is an impulsive feeling. That fight or flight, that like immediate reaction, you know what I'm saying? You might kill that person because you thought that they were going to kill you. But are you a murderer? No. What I'm saying is logic is tied into love. If you love somebody, you'll take a step out of the situation and realize that, hey, we have a problem, but the problem ain't you. It's something in between us.
Okay.
A lot of people can't take the problem and put it in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
They see the person as a problem. And that's why my marriage was really short. Because I was like, oh, we ain't got a problem. You the problem.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if I get rid of you, problem gone. But the truth of the matter is, after 10 years plus a dating afterwards, I realized that these problems just exist.
Yes.
So it ain't people. It's a problem that exists in between the two individuals, right? You got to look at it like that. Like, hey, we got this thing in between us, but it ain't you. I don't need to get rid of you to get rid of the problem.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where logic comes into play. You got to grow in the logic. Logic ain't always fun. You know what I'm saying? But logic is, hey, these problems that men and women have, everybody got them.
Everybody.
The person that's been married for 5 years and the person that's been married for 50 years got these problems. What they've realized is these problems ain't us. There's shit that's in between us.
Yes.
So if I can get your attention for a second and say, hey, love, we got this shit that's in between us. How about we get it out of there so that we can have more connection time, a better time. The problem ain't you. Because when you start looking at the person as a problem, you can't date nobody. You can't be with nobody. Because everybody's
you
a
better say
motherfucking
that.
problem. You know what I'm
You
saying?
better
So
say that.
I'ma just lean on logic because emotion didn't serve me well in the past. I've left everybody I've ever been with, and they got me to another person that I left again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it can't be the person every time. You know,
It's
can't
true.
be.
But it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. And I
it's
think
true.
that that's a good thing. Like, even in that situation, you would definitely have to see what it is between y'all.
That's
Now,
it.
even if your partner's cutting you off, you got to break that down some kind of way. Whether it's
Why
doing
don't
this,
they want to talk to you? Is it something like pull on that a little bit?
pull on it like what?
Pull
so,
on it.
So instead of them coming to you and saying like, I don't want to, why don't you want to?
Why don't you want? Do you feel like I'm gonna judge you?
I mean, I've learned this. I'm emotion.
I got some problems too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna judge you because I got a speck in my eye, so I ain't gonna look at the plank in yours. Make it a space to where if people feel like they want to share. You know,
But you
like,
know why people can't get to that space?
why is that?
Emotion.
I'm telling you, logic is the way.
But it's hard to be in the moment right now. We're talking these scenarios over
That's
a
what I said.
podcast, right?
Emotions are spontaneous because you feel and you emote. What men have is this thing to where I feel, I pause, and the worst thing a woman can do, and it's not to get on women, it's just something that men think about. Give a man a second to go from feeling, thought, to emotion, right? Y'all go feeling to emotion like that. You feel slighted, you emote, bitch, you got me fucked up. Man feels slighted, he thinks, if I hit this man, is this the type of man that would shoot at me even though my child is here? You know, is this the type of man to where, you know, if I hit him and we lose this fist fight, he would come back to my house and I got a child that live with me. I got a woman that live with me. It's feeling, thought, then emotion.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I might at the end emote, you got it, bruh. And it's not a, you know, I'm scared of you or this or that. It's the thought, it's the logic that, hey, unless I'm willing to kill you right here, right now, there's always the possibility that this could go on and on and on and on and on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I could be at a Target later on with somebody I care about, and you see me and be like, oh, this shit ain't over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like scenario, feeling, oh, you got me fucked up. Pause, thought, all right. But could this come back on my family?
Right.
Then emotion. You know what I'm saying?
After you've done what you...
After you've done the middle part. And it's like, y'all be wanting responses from us right away. And it's like, don't make me act right now because I'm going to be irrational, which we associate with emotional.
Right.
Emotional is irrational. You ain't even take the time to think. Before you cuss that nigga out, before you cuss this person out, excuse me, TikTok, apologize. Before you cuss this person out, did you think of all the different scenarios that might happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, he might not hit you, but he might go hit your dude. You know what I'm saying? It's the thing I say to kids. Like, if a kid's messing with my kid, I might not do nothing to you. But do you care about your father? Would you want me to go to your house and go beat up your father in front of you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you don't want, think about that.
Think about it. Think about it.
Don't
Think
hit
about
my
it.
son or I'm going to hit your father. Like, just take a little pause.
I can
Pause for
see
the
what you're
cause.
saying about the pausing and the logic. I do think that
Yeah.
women don't do that sometimes, but again, we gonna get to that.
We're going to get to that.
We gonna get to it.
All right.
Okay, so
I couldn't help myself.
it's okay. We love it. We love it. So listen, if you're in TikTok right now, shout out to Angel. She said she got to put her phone down, but she coming back because she at work.
Okay.
Make sure you hit the like button. Okay, tonight we're talking about logic versus emotion. Also, y'all on Twitter, if y'all have something to say, make sure you raise your hand. We still gonna be monitoring over there. We got Artiste representing for logic. We got Like a Bug representing for emotion. Both doing a great job. Y'all ready for the next scenario?
Yes.
Y'all ready? Alrighty, here's the next scenario. Your child, who is normally a very, very good child, right? It doesn't give you any problems. Great grades, very respectful. But recently, they just grades dropping, right? They ain't cleaning their room. They just been really off lately. Anytime you try to tell them something, they might blow up at you a little bit. So you be like, you know what? They might be going through something. You try to talk to them. Maybe that teenage phase. They really not.
So they're a teenager.
So yeah.
Just put it in real words.
So they're a teenager and they really not.
Yeah.
You know, they're not communicating as they should, right? But it's getting a little bit out of hand. Report cards about to come out. Grades are just not what it needs to be. You've done what you can do. You've talked to the teacher. The teacher's telling you it's the student. Like I've given them the work. They're just not doing the work. You keep talking to your child, right? So then you go to confront your child. You're like, you know what? I'm going to talk to my child. You come at your child with love. They cuss you out and put their hands on you. Logic, emotion.
Logic. because my oldest child is a girl, I think I can operate in the mind of logic. You know, logic says somebody's done something to you. You're not you. Eat a Snickers. So why? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you're not you. You know what I'm saying? Because you know better.
But tell me what you're doing.
So logic is I'm catching the hands. Because
Okay.
the minute that your fists have hit my jaw, we in the emotional part. So I'm
you're hit.
I'm hit at this point.
You're hit. Remember,
I'm hit. My child is hit.
they've cussed you out and they put their hands on you. You didn't catch the hands.
Gotcha.
You're hit. Logic, give it to me.
Logic. I'm hit. My child has just hit me in the face. Right? I grab the hands to stop the hitting.
Okay.
Right? Logically. So you can't do this no more. We're eye to eye. What's going on with you?
Mm-hmm.
And not in the sense to where, like, you can look away. No. Wherever your eyes go, I go.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? What's really bothering you on a logic sense? Like, what's going on?
They don't have an answer and they
know.
still fighting you.
They still fighting you. We're going to close the room door. We're going to take the electronics. You done right now. You know what I'm saying? In a logic sense, because we can't be emotional, right?
We cannot
be emotional.
So taking the electronics is emotion.
That's not emotion. That's a logical thing.
Why?
Listen, you don't need any outsource to any other thought process other than what you just did. You know what I mean? You need time to reflect on what's going on right now in your life. You can't be present when you're with something that allows you to be somewhere else. So everything that you can use to connect with a different world or a different place allows you to be somewhere else mentally, or that's gone. Let's get this out of the room. Let's leave you some time to think, about what's going on in a logic sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Logically, I'm calling the parent. I'm calling their friends. I'm like, hey, has anybody hit my child? Has they had an outburst with a teacher? Has anybody? Have you seen anything? That's logic. Let's pinpoint what's really going on right here, without the emotion. That's all I can think.
That's the best that you have. With
let's find the source of where this anger is coming from. If we're just talking logic, and I can't be emotional.
Yes, you cannot. You cannot be emotional.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Emotion, give it to me.
First of all, Rasmus said I can logically issue a beating. It doesn't have to be emotional.
Nah, that's it. Fully emotion now.
Okay.
I'm just saying logic because I have a girl.
Yeah.
That's my oldest. I would think would try it. My son wouldn't dare.
Well, I have a girl.
My daughter might. I have 2 daughters and they might.
Okay.
My son wouldn't dare.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a daughter as well, and I'm doing my mom did me when I tried my mom. I'ma fling her across the room. All right?
Yeah.
You finna learn today. I am not the one. I found out real good and quick back in my day in
All
this
you had to
very
try
room.
your mama one time.
Never again. She gonna learn that day I am not the one, and she won't dare do it again. Phone gone, TV gone, laptop, the 3 laptops that your granddad got gone, all that tablet gone, everything gone. Matter of fact, if you try me again, you step up again after I took all your stuff, I will call 911 myself.
That's
to come
the
get
answer
you.
I was looking for.
Come get you. Okay?
And I thought logic was gonna do that answer as a protection thing.
But here's why my answer is the way it is. It's based on life experience, right? Not my own personal. You can learn from anybody. I know people who have sent their children due to behavioral issues into like state custody and things like that. The child to this day is a thorn in their side and always uses that thing that I was too much for you, so you just gave me away, or you sent me to this bad place, and all these bad things happened to me because you sent me away, as this thing to always be a thorn in that person's side, right? Because of that, logically, I'm like, ooh, because I want to correct the behavior. Remember, like with the problem thing, the problem is in between us. It ain't you.
Mm-hmm.
It's your behavior. It ain't you. You can't correct behavior like and you can't discipline the person and the behavior at the same time. It's like you got to look at the behavior and work on that and not necessarily isolate the person at the same time. What if you, because you're trying to discipline your child, send them to some institution where they're sexually assaulted, beat on physically, all these other things because of some action that they, some outburst, right? Did you win? Did you get the result that you were looking for? I'm just saying on the logic side. Me, I'm looking at it like on logic because I can't be emotional. It's like we got to fix this in here with the tools that I got in here, not in state custody. How many people been rehabilitated by jail?
Well,
or different things like that. It's different if my child stabbed me and start killing cats or making bombs or at this point, listen, it's better for you to be
over
where
there.
Folks like that is at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's a life that you chose. But it's like you having an outburst. We can fix that.
Well, not
We
that
can
the
fix
police
that
had
outburst.
to.
Can I
ain't
put a
ready to
disclaimer
quit.
on
I ain't
here?
ready to quit.
Yeah.
Can I just say the way I would actually respond and the way I'm telling y'all is 2 different things because I have to be emotional. So
That's
I can't,
what I'm saying. It's the same here.
Yeah.
Because you're giving me just logic.
And I'm just
I have
emotional.
to give you a logical
Because
answer.
remember we're doing the verses.
Yeah,
right?
we're doing logic versus
So and my thing about the police is it doesn't necessarily have to escalate
Emotional.
to state custody,
It's-
right?
Yeah, it doesn't. It does
Just
not.
that you need a report in case. It's kind of like the pump fake with the divorce, right? I'm going to separate, but you show your child like, I will get the police involved if I need to, right? And I think that's a logical thing to do because you can't put your hand. I don't think anybody wants to physically have to fight their child. Once you get to that place with your child, there's a loss of respect when y'all are literally going to blows at each other. So I think calling the police, filing the report to let them know, look, this stops now, right? I don't think that's an emotional response. That's very logical to say, I need some other authority in here to help me. So that's what I was kind of.
I'm struggling with it because the only children I can like envision trying that are girls, and I
He
don't
ain't
even have
lying.
to, and I don't have to get loud with girls to hurt, like to get them back into a place of.
Because you're the dad.
You see what I'm saying? Like I can't even. Maybe it's the wrong question for me. I couldn't imagine me
It's
being
not a wrong
physically
question.
assaulted by one of my children with their like real fist. You know, like, cause it's just.
Okay.
Girls are normally scared, not necessarily scared, but they have that sense of all dads have to do is be like, "Hey, sit down,
Raise your voice. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And then they're calmed
Listen,
down.
I'm
I
a
mean,
big old age,
really.
and I'm still like that with my daddy. He raised his voice, and I got a little tear on the side. I
Man,
can't
let me
even
tell
lie.
you, if
I'm
I hear
30
choo choo,
I'm 35,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't challenge my father. So it's like it's so out of the realm of possibility, and I'm just thinking logically, you would have to be. Who gave you some drugs? You out of your mind.
but I do believe that my teenage daughter, not that she give me any tendencies or anything like that, but there's a possibility if they say
It's
that your
always
child
a
will do what you
possibility.
did to your parents, she may get upset one day because she is hormonal. I didn't mind because I was pregnant, so I had a reason. But she did that. If she became so hormonal and upset that she actually charged and I had to just swing her across the room, I can see that happening because that's what I did as a teenage girl.
And listen, whatever you did, these kids are more capable times 10. They grown, okay? So that's kind of why I put that in there. And of course, most people do have children, so that's why I wanted to do that. Listen, if
Gotcha.
you're in the chat, we're at 8.3K likes. Tap that screen for me. Try to get us to 9K if you can. We can also try to hit 10K by the end of the show. Again, this is
Period.
Topic Tuesday. You're listening to Look Who's Ranting Now, and we are talking about logic versus emotion, right? We got Artiste struggling a little bit, but he answering for the logical
for the
side. He's
logic.
doing a
I'm
great
doing the-
side.
I'm
He's
doing
doing a
the
great
best I
job.
can.
He's
Doing the
doing a
best I
great
can.
job. And we got Like a Bug doing the emotion. Although she wants to hop to logic, she's staying with the emotion, and I love it, okay? So we're going to go to the next scenario,
Okay.
okay?
Let's
This
do
is
it.
this is like a recent thing that happened today.
Okay.
You're Quavo,
Ooh.
okay? Takeoff is your nephew.
Jesus. Rest in peace.
Rest
Rest
in peace
in
to
Rest in
Takeoff.
peace to Takeoff before we go any
Rest
further.
in peace to
Oh,
Takeoff.
gosh.
Can we
No
do a moment of
disrespect.
silence real quick for Takeoff?
Moment of silence. 10 seconds.
Rest in peace to Takeoff, y'all.
No
So
doubt.
sad. But logic versus emotion, right? You're Quavo. Takeoff is not just your group member. That's your nephew.
Jesus.
Okay? That's his. Quavo was his uncle.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? That's a fact. Their blood, they were raised together, right? You're seeing your nephew gunned down after a dice game, right?
Are we adding the whole thing to it or just the scenario
You can.
presented? Okay.
I'm just adding what I don't know what the whole thing is. I'm just going off. All the details haven't come out yet, and you're just in the state as an uncle seeing your nephew gunned down. Logic, emotion.
Logically. Shit, can you be logical in a situation like that?
You know what? That's a great. It took you a while to
Yeah.
get there,
Yeah,
but that's the point of this, right?
got you.
There's some things where logic is just not.
I feel like I have a nephew, so I'm
Comprehensible.
gonna put it into my mind, right?
Okay.
I have someone who I consider as a brother. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like if his son was to be gunned down in front of me
Over a dice game.
over a dice game. But here's why I said let me add the are we taking the whole context? Meaning he's present, but I'm the reason why he's present. Meaning I'm in the dice game, he's not.
I don't know the facts. If that is,
I don't
then-
know the facts. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well-
are we just looking at it as the way you presented it? He's just gunned down at a dice game. Nobody's taking into account
I think
none of the.
I think that's the emotions coming in, feeling at fault because
That's what I was going to say.
Both parties are grown. Nobody's there because of the other. So let's look at it like that, right? They're two grown men at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No one's there because of the other. We both chose to go to the dice game.
Okay.
I think that's emotion coming in.
Hypothetically, this nephew is an adult, right?
Is an adult,
And
right?
we're both at this place, and he happens to get gunned down.
Right.
Logically, first, I'm in the logic sense, help. You know what I'm saying? Help is first. Resuscitate. I used to be a CNA. We're gonna do the 10 chest compressions. We're gonna swap out. You know what I'm saying? We're doing the CPR. We're doing everything we can to keep this person living. That's step one. Step two, and that's the last step, even in the logic sense, because you can't subtract emotion. You can just choose to pick logic. Right. Who did it? And that's the end of it. Step three, if you catch me, then
you feel the emotion.
Then it's jail time. But who did it?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Who did it? Friend or foe? You took from me what you could never give back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And even on the logic side, just logically, you remove something from me that I can't buy back. I can't work to earn back. I can't. There's nothing I can do to get this thing back.
Not a thing.
So logically, I want to say, because we got to be logical, right? I can't trade my life for theirs and throw it away and go to jail. But one thing is, I'm on the Charleston White thing. You're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? You're going to jail because it's like I'm forced to stay in this logic box. I can't go commit murder, because now 2 lives are gone.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then that might cause someone else in my family to want to go even the score and take 2 more lives to make it, 2-2 or 3-2 or whatever.
And it just keeps going after that.
And it just keeps going after that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, logically, you got to go to jail. You got to do your time. You know what I'm saying? And then if the justice system fails, even logically, if you walk, you won't walk far out of that courtroom. You got to go.
Okay.
You got to go. Whether it's me or I got to, like 50 said, if I got to give the same money that you would give your lawyers to get out of jail, if I throw that to the homies to make sure that
they
you
got
don't walk
you
too far, and now nobody don't know nothing. It is what it is. But I just can't think logically in that situation. A nephew of mine, that's tough.
That's very tough. And then you're talking about death. All the other situations were circumstance, different emotions, whether it's familiar or romantic or about your money, right? If you notice the theme, right? Now we're at death, right? So emotion.
So I have 2 responses.
Okay, let's do it.
The first one is how I would respond because I think of these scenarios all the time in my head.
Oh, okay.
And how I would react to it. And I think I'd be so hurt and just, I want to cater to that person. I'm crying. I'm hysterical. I want to make sure they're okay. And then if they leave from my hands and they're gone, I'm completely withdrawn. I have nothing else for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm full. I'm not talking. I'm scheming because I want to wait until you feel safe. I want you to wait until you forget.
Mm-hmm.
And I am coming after you because I'm never going to forget. That person meant so much to me. You took their life over dice. First of all, you took their life, period. But now dice, I'm taking everything I can from you.
Everything.
Everything. Now, my second response on just pure emotion in the moment, my nephew that I love, I have a nephew that I love in front of me, I'm killing you on the spot. Mm-hmm. I'm taking my...
Whoever close to you. I think you with the orange shirt was with him. It's going down. Pop, pew, pew, pew.
That's it.
Whatever I got.
Let's go.
In an emotional state. Yeah. I mean, it just, that's an,
Rasmus says sounds logical to me.
listen, it's a very emotional situation. If you take something from me that I cannot get back, meaning like, if my life is in the people I care about, it's in people. It ain't in tangible things. You take this couch, I get another one.
Period.
You take a chain off my neck, I get another one.
Thank you.
Take my car, I get another one. Take a life. It's gone forever. I'm not God and vengeance is his. But while I'm here, you better hope he intercedes on your behalf.
Okay.
Because if he don't, you might as well consider me, the Grim Reaper.
And, and listen, an eye for an eye. A tooth for
Damn
a
the
tooth.
eye. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody.
Everybody.
Folks who've seen it. And see, that's an inconsolable thing. Like, right now, if anything, we should be praying for Offset. You know what I'm saying? Praying
for Quavo.
For Quavo. Listen, like, what he would feel, and actually praying for the man that was in the crew, if it's allegedly true, who shot him accidentally first, before the opposite side could
I've
do
heard
the
so many
finishing
things.
shot. You know what I'm saying? I've
Yeah.
heard so many different things. Pray for his family as well, because the rain and thunder of vengeance, Jesus, it just don't have no end.
No end.
Because people, like logically you would say you're not going to get the person back, but it's like, I don't want to be here without what's my world.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? That's how you know God is love.
Yeah.
Because people on earth took the only child that he's ever had
Oh my gosh.
and hung him on a cross and killed him for no reason. And he didn't burn the world.
No.
And I ain't God. Take something from me that's irreplaceable. I'm finna take some things from you.
Everything.
And I would hope the folks around me would pray.
Because it would only take God to stop me.
That's it. I'd have to be in the lion's den or the belly of the whale like Jonah. But if I'm able to get to the Smith and Wesson, you know what I'm saying?
Come on.
You know what I
Smith &
mean?
Wesson.
Or the other thing. I don't even know the brand of that other thing. You know what I'm saying? If I can get to those,
It's up.
the ones with the slugs, it's rap.
It's a big old rap for you.
It's rap.
And listen, so I said all these to say that a lot of situations, because, and here's our last and final point, because I know we're running a little bit, but a lot of the times women get a very bad rap when it comes to emotion. Now, I will say this. A lot of women don't do a lot of things correct emotionally, right? Especially in the romance department, right? If there's something going wrong, the emotions, the reactions sometimes aren't warranted, right?
Women are great. They're just never wrong. I just
Here we
wanted
go.
to throw that out there.
But
You're just never wrong.
in certain situations, right?
Okay.
Emotions are justified. Here's the difference, right? You feel in a situation, it took you to death to get to where emotions is up. Like, it is what it is, right? But the next person, whether man or woman, it might not take them to death, right? The emotion could just be the emotion that does not make them wrong. So what I would like to tell between men and women, that if she's just crazy emotionally, don't deal with that. Like, you don't have to deal with everybody's grown, right? But if you're in a situation where, she's reacting emotionally, don't always invalidate it. And this just goes back to, if you were here in the beginning of the show, where a person I was talking to was saying, no matter what, if it's based in emotion, they don't respect it. They're not talking about it. It has to be based in fact and logic. A lot of men kind of take that standpoint. Okay. And I did all of these scenarios to show that We're just different in what it takes for the emotion to take over. Again, if the emotion is unhealthy, it's unhealthy. Don't, if every time something happens, she reacting emotionally, it is what it is, right? You don't have to deal with that. But what I'm saying is, what your emotional trigger is death. That's what it takes for you. It was a little steps before that, right? But for somebody else, theirs could just be a little shorter. But it doesn't mean that you have to invalidate the person, because your emotional tolerance is bigger than theirs, right? Doesn't make them less than you, right? So that was what the whole thing was about, logic versus emotion, just putting people in different scenarios to see how you would react, and to just people to even come together. I mean, just like this takeout situation, that was emotion. To gun him down, nothing logical about it. People was probably talking junk. Nobody's aware of anybody's emotional intelligence, how far they can go, whatever money they was losing. These millionaire guys taking my money, and they talking junk, and they better than me. Like Boosie said, I'm hypnotized with hatred, right? It's all emotion, right? Their emotional tolerance, if they thought logically, oh man, this takeoff, now I could get a little picture, put on Instagram, I could do, they probably could have got the money back. You just never know, right?
That's true.
They could have did your steps. Oh shoot, I lost some money in the game. Let me call my friend. You in a circle with a takeoff and a Quavo, you around money. You know what I'm saying? They didn't think logically. They're emotional. If the other side did it, whatever happened, or even whoever did it, right? Their emotional tolerance at the time was just different from yours. So you just have to be aware of it. Don't invalidate someone because they react emotionally in a situation that you wouldn't. Again, if they're being ridiculous, don't do that. But just to have respect for both, right? Always telling someone you need to be logical. You ain't being logical, and invalidating them because they don't arrive at logic when you do. It's kind of demeaning in a way, in my opinion, especially when it becomes between men and women, right? And I just think that we need to do better at it. And that was my whole point of the logic versus emotion. I mean, you can pull up any video. The man's stance is always going to be logic, reason, right? But in some scenarios, it might not be the best course of action. In any of these scenarios, either one work depending on your emotional intelligence and how you handle emotions, right? Whether it's the money, whether it's the spouse. You can react emotionally and still come at a good decision outcome, right? You can react logically in certain situations and it go wrong for you, right? It's not the best course of action. So I just wish people would get to a point to not just take one side over the other, but to, and you may not even have a healthy balance, but just to have a healthy respect for someone who just may react different from you, right? As long as they're not being ridiculous. I want to put that in there.
Yeah, I kind of want to rock with you. I just feel like, you know, if we're going to grade the two things, me personally, I just feel like it is better to feel, think, react than to feel, react. Feel, react is emotional. Feelings and emotions are different. How you feel something and what you emote are two different things. But if you're just going to feel and react and then say, well, I'm just different than you. Well, you're right. That's why there's a lot of folks in jail and there's, you know, more people that are free. We all felt those things that you felt. We all felt disrespected when this person said this and that. You felt this and emoted murder. I felt this, paused for a second, thought about who it could all affect, and said, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And emoted nonchalantness. And a different reaction came out. So I'm just saying, if you're going to lean on a side, me personally, I would say go with logic because it involves thinking. Emotions don't involve thinking. Emotions involve feel. I felt this, so I did that. And if that's your thing, a lot of folks is in jail right now who felt poor, who felt like their children were about to starve, so they did robbery. You know what I'm saying? They felt horny, so they did sexual assault. You know what I mean? Like, go with the logic. Just in my opinion. Do the pause. Pause for the cause. Like, at least think about it for a second and say, hey, let me lean towards logic. And I know we're all going to do things differently, and that's fine. But, you know, if you're going to feel, we all feel disrespected by cheating and all this other different stuff, but there's some people who get cheated on, bust windows, and get a criminal charge. You know what I'm saying? Some people who get cheated on, you know, feel the hurt. You know what I'm saying? And decide that they're just going to leave you alone.
Right.
Logic. I'm a roll with logic.
And I think that you can, right? And
I think logic is better.
Well, in the situation that
In
you're
my
describing, some of those are the extreme, right?
No, death was the extreme.
No.
Death is I think logic. It's almost like how logically you would think emotionally is right.
Well, I even think to where someone cheated on, they bust a window. I think that's extreme. Like, I've been cheated on. Nothing about me wanted to bust a window or
Why?
do anything
You were
to.
being logical in this situation. You said it ain't worth me losing.
I don't want to
Not
bust a window. I want to bust your PS4.
Listen, not necessarily,
There you
right?
go.
Not necessarily, right?
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, so take it down a notch from those extremes. Just take it in a conversation, and someone may be hyped emotionally, right? When they talking to you, and you don't like the way they talk. It's not always invalidating. You can still hear what they're saying, right? They still may have a point. You don't like the way they're coming about their point. But to invalidate a lot of that because it comes from emotion is not fair, right? I
Keep that
Rocky,
same energy, because I'm finna beg Razman to call in right now.
Beg
and
him.
give us your hot take.
Hold
And
on.
you better.
I was actually going to bring up
keep
Rasmus and say.
that same logic.
But she
'cause he
does
gonna
hear
say
things that
something
he says.
Uh-huh.
And she
Man,
doesn't
a lot of-
invalidate it.
I never never. The only time I did when he brought up KKK and something crazy, and the time that he was in here, everybody was like, all right, Razman,
That's
you
the only
reaching.
time you invalidate.
Hold on, listen. I never tell Razman. I might say I don't agree with you, but I've never said, oh, you doing this and you doing that, and slandered him. I've never done that.
Gotcha.
I've never done that to Razman. Me and Razman disagree all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Okay.
And Razman gets emotional
you know what?
in
Razman
his
was
take.
a bad example. Made man.
What you mean?
How you treat Made man?
How do I treat Made Man?
I wish Made man was here to.
You
to
know what?
defend this.
I'm gonna let you know. Made Man is actually my friend. He would disagree with you.
Really?
Oh.
Made Man is actually my friend. Made Man's a cool cat.
You like Made man?
He cool. He cool.
Listen, you hit. I wish Made man was here. So I hope you hear the replay of this. Made man, you are loved here. You know, not just by your folks, but also by your.
Oh
good
my God!
client.
I don't know why y'all think I hate. I have a problem. Made Man do be doing too much sometimes. Like when he talked during the outro,
I'm
I
just
had to
messing
tell
with you.
him what he had to do.
Right.
'Cause he messed it up.
Yeah.
Right, but that might be being me emotional about the show because
it's
I like
all
for us
good.
to do amazing, right? I like it to
Oh,
run smooth.
It's not.
They
It's not
always
emotional.
right.
I'm OCD. I just want it done a certain way because it needs to be done a certain way.
Yes. so I just think that at the end of the day, just have respect for both, right? So
Absolutely.
Artiste can be Mr. Logical. I'm gonna change your name to in my phone to that, right? Mr. Logical.
I was forced to be
However,
logical. Today.
However, when you're faced with emotions and an emotional reaction that you may not be reacting emotional in that moment. As long as the person isn't physically damaging you, there's not anything negatively directly happening to you. And this is not just to artists, I'm talking about to all men who feel like this. And I had this conversation with the person I was talking to. As long as the emotions aren't negatively affecting you, your property, or anything, don't invalidate them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the person said, I don't respect anything unless it's in fact. I only respect logic. How? When there's situations where things can be emotional and it's okay.
Right.
Like it's definitely okay for things to be emotional, right? So
absolutely.
that's the the reason I wanted to talk about this. Listen, I got to thank Miss Emotion over here.
Let me tell you, I get emotional
held
over
it
my
down.
dog. I get emotional over my animal, so don't try it. All right, cool.
She held it down over here, and I can be both, just depending on what's going on and what's my environment at the time, right?
Don't try me.
Don't try me now. don't do it, because I can turn up real bad. However, again, my message, and I know we got to wrap it up, guys. I think it has been a great show. I want to thank y'all too so much for holding it down, taking either side of this thing, doing the verses, and coming up with really great intellectual answers, whether it was emotion or logic. Right? Y'all definitely held it down. I want to thank everybody on TikTok for rocking with us, for the likes, making sure y'all get us up there and hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it. Again, this was Topic Tuesday, where we come every Tuesday with a topic, and y'all join us. Remember, we're also a podcast. We'll be back here Thursday, 7:30 CPT. This is Look Who's Ranting Now. You can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you. See you Thursday. Peace.
Shout out again to TikTok. We are at 12,400 likes.
Hey!
Y'all are awesome.
We're live again next week at 7 p.m. CPT time.
I know what that sound means. I get her.
Hey.